Hi there, we're looking at our next poem, Ek het 'n huisie by die see. It's not terribly difficult, so let's get right into it. But before we do, just a reminder that all our books now, the Afrikaans Made Simple, cheat sheets, the workbook with all the grammar and answers, and so on, are available at CNA. So when you pass CNA, get yourself a copy and sort out all the difficulties that you may have with Afrikaans, or whether you want to just get a B or get a C, just bump that symbol up. This book will definitely help you. There's the contact details should you need to contact us, but just pop into CNA. Cool. Ek het 'n huisie by die see. As usual, we're just going to look at the Afrikaans side, yeah? Then English translation, and then those notes that you will need for the test or for the exam. Cool. I'm going to try and pick out things that they would ask and leave out all the unnecessary clutter that you will not need. Time is of the essence, yeah. So, ek het 'n huisie by die see. Dis nag. Okay, so I have a house, a small house, a little house at the sea. It is night. It's dark. It's night time. We'll get into the meanings later. Ek hoor aan een. So let's look at that repetition. Die golwe slaan. I hear the waves crashing, continuously crashing. Teenoor, against this rock that my house is built on. So it's not actually hitting the house, it's hitting the rock that the house is built on, endangering the very foundation of the house. Okay. Met al die oceaan se woeste krag, with all the ocean's vicious power, the sea is beating this rock. Okay. Ek hoor die winde huil, 'n kreun, 'n klag. I hear the winds crying, howling, groaning, complaining. Okay, it's really pushing this storm, pushing the sea against the rock. Soos, so I hear this wind, like, soos van verlore siele in hul nood. Like, this wind is like lost souls. It sounds like lost souls in their desperate need, Okay, they're lost. They come out when these storms. So you can see that we're moving sort of on a metaphorical level here, figurative level, not necessarily a literal level. Okay, soos van siele in hul nood, al dwalend, klagend, wat in graf en dood geen rus kon vind nie, maar nog soek en smag. Okay, so these souls, it goes on with the idea of these lost souls, dwalend, they're wandering around aimlessly, these dead ones, these ghosts or spirits or whatever they might be, klagend, groaning, that spelling is wrong there, groaning, but in graf en nood, in the grave and in death. So in the grave, they come out of the grave. Maybe these are ones who died at sea. Maybe it means something else, like we'll look at just now. Geen rus meer kon vind nie. They couldn't find any peace, couldn't find rest in the grave. They're searching and they're longing for, they're hankering for something. Okay. Now, there's a big shift in the poem here. As you'll see, this is outside. Okay. Now we go to inside the house here. Okay. Buite, binne. My vuurtjie brand. My little fire is burning cozily in my house. My kersie gee sy lig. My candle gives its light. It's got a little fire there. You can almost picture it in your head. It's dark, storm outside, wind pumping away at the windows and at the foundation. Inside there's a little fire, little candle, little kersie. Ek hoor maar hoe loei die storm daar buite. Nice Afrikaans woord, die storm loei. So the storm's howling, sort of that whistling, howling like a siren almost, as the wind hits the roof, and it makes that almost that siren-like noise. Okay. Ek hoor hoe ruk die winde aan my ruite. I can hear the winds pulling or shaking, ruk aan, shaking on my windows. Hier binne, inside here, it is veilig, safe, warm, warm, and dig. It's concealed, it's safe, it's tight. It's like airtight almost. Okay. Then we have, this is an English sonnet, so we have 4, 4, 4, 4, and then 2. So this rhyming couplet here at the end normally presents the climax or the punch or whatever you want to call it. So it says, Kom nag, come night. You can come weather. Well, you're welcome to come wind, come ocean. You all can come. This is the rock that my house is standing on. Dit is die rots waarop my huisie staan. This is the rock. So it's almost like a challenge. Yeah, you can bring the storm, bring it. My house can take it. I'm strong. This house is very, very strong. Okay, so that is the basic meaning and the translation of the poem. Just wondering if I should make this a little bit bigger quickly before we go on, just to make sure you can see it well. There we go. That's a bit better. Okay, so the title there, Huisie. Huisie. So it says I. So let's just get a color here. Let's use the green there. So it's a Huisie. Look there. So it's a specific house. It's not the Huisie. It's a Huisie. So it's something that's specific to the narrator. Specifiek aan die spreker. It's something personal almost, I would say. And it would make sense if you keep in mind the metaphor, which we'll talk about now. Is iets persoonliks. It's almost very personal. Okay. Die Huisie en die see is metafore vir iets anders. Very, very critical. Yeah, you must know this. There are metaphors for something. They stand for something. They symbolize something. And there are different interpretations here. So just check again with your teacher that she's if you're going to use these notes, just check that she's comfortable with it, and maybe add something in, because I know there are different ideas here, but I'm pretty sure this is the safe option, without making it too complicated. So die see represents the problems, the challenges, uitdagings. Okay. Die Huisie, that is geloof in iets. That is a faith in something. Okay, it's a faith in something. There's no real indication that it's only the Christian faith. Yeah, it could be any faith, apart from the metaphor of the biblical idea that it's the wise man built his house on the rock, and the foolish person built his house on the sand. But it could quite broadly apply to any sort of belief system that helps you to cope with problems. But just to be safe, just say that, just learn that. That'll be fine. Just interesting there, they use the diminutive form, Huisie. They might ask that. It can just show that this house is small in comparison to this massive ocean and the massive storms that it can produce. It's baie klein vergelyking. It's small, but yet it's strong. It shows that your faith might seem small and ridiculous to some. However, it can really ground you and make you strong. Okay, so there's a lot hidden in the title there. Be careful. The ek, who's this ek? Well, this narrator, This is the person facing these storms and winds of life. Okay, these problems, these challenges. They say there is nach. You see how it stands alone there in the poem. It's alleenplasing. Okay, it's placing the words alone. That's always functional. That word might pop up in a question. Functional. That's how I like to ask it. Hoekom is it functioneel? Why is it meaningful? Betekenisvol, functioneel. Betekenisvol. So it's just the knight there is just like emphasizes the fact that this is a very dangerous situation. It's 'n baie gevaarlike situasie van die spreker. It's a very dangerous situation. It's surrounded, this little house is surrounded by night and ocean and winds and storms. Okay, so it's quite an effective typographical isolation there of the words there. Then there's this repetition here, on een. Definitely meaningful, herhaling. Why? Well, it does well to emphasize beklemtoon. You must know that word, eh? Beklemtoon, goodness. Beklemtoon, die aanhoudende verwoesting van die storm. It emphasizes the repetitive sort of hammering away, the relentlessness of the storm. Okay. Aanhoudende verwoesting. What is this rots? Okay, teenoor die rots. So this calls to mind, it calls to mind the Bible story that Jesus told, the parable. Die wyse man bou sy huis op klip. Okay, the wise man built his house on the rock, which is obviously a clever thing to do. The foolish man built his house on sand. By implication, I think it means that when you believe in something, you must base it on something that's real and not base it on something that can easily move, like sand. Okay, so die rots verteenwoordig is represent, you must know that word. Die rots verteenwoordig die spreker se geloof in God. So you can maybe say it represents the narrator's faith in a God or his God. Look at the enjambement here, slaan teenoor. Okay, so cleverly used there, enjambement. Die versreels vloei aaneen, so the lines flow into each other, just like the waves in the wind keeps flowing, crashing in relentlessly. Again, that feeling of aanhoudende storm, the relentlessness of it. Okay. Die winde en die storms, what do they represent, symboliseer, verteenwoordig, probleme, problems in life, challenges, things that affect your faith, and so on. Okay. Verlore siele, who are these lost souls now? That is a tricky one. These lost souls in their need. Well, evidently, they've got to be the ones that built their houses on the sand, and now they are dead. And they're drifting around aimlessly in the storm, looking for something, searching. It says there, soek and smag. They couldn't find rest. Okay, so I just made a note there. It said moontlik die wat sterf in die see. Maybe it's those who died in the storms on a literal sort of level. Those that did not build their houses firmly like the narrator, they are still searching and longing for verlossing, is relief or release from their situation, which is a terrible picture, actually, quite a vivid mind picture that's being painted here. Okay, now we move to inside the house. So there, so my feet, I'm just going to move this poem down so we can see what we're doing. There we go. So, can move it in there. So, where are we? My viertjies. Now we're inside. This is the second one. Yeah. Now this is all inside. the house. My vuurtjie is a little fire. So what? All these things are symbols, metaphors. It can represent hope and safety. Okay, if they ask for two things, learn it. It's 3 marks. Then just an interesting expression. Ek hoor dan maar hoe loei die storm na buite. That's not just coincidence. It's hard to translate that dan maar. Ek hoor dan maar. It's almost showing that you don't really mind the storm anymore. It must just come. It must just you sort of confident. It's an indication of confidence, I would say. Ek hoor dan maar. Ag, praat dan maar, you know. Is dit wys so 'n note there is die wyse spreker het selfvertroue en voel veilig. He's very confident and very safe. This house is the narrator's safe place of faith. Okay. Die spreker se veilige plek van geloof. Right. If you learn these notes, you'll be good. You'll be fine. Kom wind, kom. Okay, now here's the couplet here, the rhyming. See, oceaan and staan rhymes nicely and cleverly there. This is kom, kom, and kom. So it's 3 challenges. Come, come, come. Just come, wind, come night, come weather, come wind, come ocean. You can all come. So it's a daag uit. It's a challenge to the elements. Hy vier sy sterk geloof. He's almost like he's celebrating his strong faith, and he's mocking or teasing or mocking the storm. And then that last line again is that repetition of dit is die rots waarop my huisie staan. We saw this before. Daarso, there. Die rots waarop my huisie staan. There's a repetition of it. Okay, a reinforcement, re-emphasizing that. Okay, so herhaling, dit bevestig sy standpunt. So there's your note. You must learn these notes, then you'll be fine. For all the poems, if you learn these notes on the right column, it's gonna be happy days. Okay, it's the theme. Well, I read a few other what a few other people said. I think we can make it a little bit sharper, if you don't mind me saying. Maybe the theme is this: jou geloofssysteem dra jou deur moeilike tye. Simple as that. Your belief system carries you through difficult times. Okay, then you're not limiting yourself too much there. So it's an English sonnet, 3 quatrain, what is a quatrain now in English? The 4 lines and a couplet. Okay, and then omarmde rhyme. Interesting. See the rhyme here, nag en krag, and then staan and staan. That's omarmde rhyme. Okay. Interesting, because you can read something into that. Die spreker word omvou deur die storm. The narrator gets sort of the arms go around, gets hugged by the storm, or sort of encapsulated by the storm. But you can also say that the house does the same thing. The house is around the narrator, making him or her feel very safe. Okay, so die spreker word omvou deur die storm, maar is ook veilig in die arms van sy huisie. Die couplet, dit bind die gedig, it binds the poem. Dit wys die spreker is stewig in sy geloof. So that little nice rhyme there at the end just shows us that the narrator is firm in his or her faith. Okay. I think that gives you a good idea. If you add this to the notes that you got in class, or just compare, then I'm pretty sure you're going to do very well here. Please support our books. When you pop into CNA, just look at everything we have available. We even have a Zulu book. If you do, you won't be doing Zulu, but your friends might be. So please support our books. If these poems are helpful, then definitely the grammar section in these books will really sort you out, and it will go well for you. Signing off until our next poem. Bye bye.